Hey, welcome back to another video of H&H Express model nscale trains. Yes, we are back in the caravan and I have here the HO modules. The glue is dried, so we're going to remove the pins and then we're going to install the track on it. One which I already had the track screwed on, so we're going to do that. We're going to mount them together in this video and then let's see if the train can make a full circle or oval as it is. So let's go outside, put it all together and then see if everything works. So the glue has dried, we're going to remove the pins and then we're going to install the track. As mentioned earlier in the previous videos, I already bent these to a nice curve. The only thing what I need to do is I need to cut off this section here. With this one it's just a small section, but I will need to check if the rail joiners will fit, and otherwise I'm gonna remove this beam as well. So let's start with removing the pins and then putting this track on its place, and I'm gonna use screws. Not pins but screws. They are very tiny. So that would be these type of screws, and they will go into the cork, and that should be enough to hold it in place, especially because the track is already a little bit bent. So let's start with it. So let's check if the rail joiner fits here. So I have one here, so I'm gonna put it on. It fits in there, but it doesn't come all the way at the half of the rail joiner. So I'm gonna cut a little bit out of one of the connections and then slide it a little bit that way. So I cut a piece out here, and now I can slide these two a little bit back. And now I have more room for the rail joiner, and now it gets just a little bit over half, so that's fine. So the center point is over here. That is where the rail joiner needs to come. So let me pin it a little bit. Since I'm using screws and I have here two pieces of cork, I can't put the screw in the middle of that, so I'm gonna put it a little bit inwards. That means that the curve is a little bit tighter. But let me pin this one first so that I can check on this radius how to get the right bend. Let me speed it up. So looking at this bend, it looks good. So I'm going to use these tiny screws. I already put two over here, and I'm going to put the screws in and try to make the bend as natural as possible. So this section I'm not gonna screw yet because I need to cut off here the sleepers or the beams, and that gives me a little bit of play. So what I need is the space, at least for the rail joiners to fit. So this sleeper should be okay. So I need to cut off a little bit of that area, and then I'm gonna use a Dremel to cut off the rail. So let me see if there is a... Okay, that's good. And I have room there. Let me try to cut this off. Never throw these away, because you will have sections where you will need them, but then you need to cut off or sand off where the rails is connected to the sleepers. So let me try to fit this one. That's more than enough, so that's fine. So I'm going to leave it that way, and I'm going to cut this rails off so that I can add another joiner here as well. So now I need to add this section, but the outer beam or outer rails is too short, so we'll need to cut off this beam as well. So let me do that. So I will need to prepare the bend over there, make it a little bit sharper. Let's see. I'm gonna cut a little bit off this one, and then gonna make that one right. Try to bend this the way we want to have it. See that the gap is getting too big here. Yeah, that would mean that this beam here still needs to come off. This looks good. So let's screw it down again. So this is the layout, the two halves, and the two halves will be bolted together with these bolts. So I will turn it around and make some holes in the bracing, and then gonna continue to bolt them in. And to connect the tracks together, I use standard tracks, and I already measured it, and this should be fitting in between, so I can extend it later to move those two halves from each other and then put some extra modules in between. And then I have one at the top over there and one here at the bottom. So I already prepared these. I have the rail joiners in. For one, I'm gonna put the wires in for feeding the track power. Maybe I'm gonna do that on the other side as well. Since this is a short track, I only have to feed it by 1 feet of wire. But if I'm gonna extend it, it will be on multiple sections. But since this is a test setup, I will hold it with one. So let's bolt it together, turn it around, and then see if we can put it on another table so we can test the track. So here you can see the bolts. There are 5 in there, which should hold the two halves together. Let me turn it around. So now you can see it's tight, and we're going to use the these ones to fit in there. And we need to make a little bit more room here to get it set. So I will do that on the table, and then I will cut off a little bit more of this track so that we can put these one in. So let's do that. Okay, let's test the track. So I have here the dummy. This is the locomotive. Let's first test it with only the locomotive. Okay. Transformer is connected through these wires. So let's move it forward. Now let's add this one to it as well. So let's see. So let's move it backward. I see that there is an issue over there, so I will need to check that, but forward motion is no problem. So let me put it back on the track. So I will sort that section out to see what was the issue, and I will inform you in a later video how I solved the issue of the reverse. So let's move it. So everything works, track has power, the table is 5 feet long, which is in a reasonable size, and almost 3.5 feet wide. So all good. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these videos, please consider to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.